WWE has vacated championships last night on SmackDown. We have an update on WWE's plans for Ronda Rousey, and the release date for AEW Fight Forever has been revealed. Stay tuned for the news. WWE has vacated some championships, and that's always a worrying sign when vacant has got another championship reign under its belt.
Cleaning up.
The most decorated champion aside from R-Truth, surely.
Yeah, and a long WCW run as well.
Yeah, vacant.
Legacy,
well, vacant is returned.
stuff.
Absolutely, first ballot Hall of Famer. Vacant is returned on SmackDown last night as it was announced that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have been forced to vacate their WWE Women's Tag Team Championships because of Liv Morgan's current injury. She reportedly suffered this injury last week in her title defense last SmackDown when it was her and Raquel versus Io Sky and Bayley. But the duo were set to defend their titles this past week on Raw that Liv got pulled from, and so it looks like their title reign has been cut short.
WWE are going to crown new champions on the May 29th episode of Raw, as you said, so we're looking forward toward that, but at the same time, a lot of people are kind of worried because the big dangling carrot seems like it's going to be Ronda and Shayna, which I don't so much have a problem with personally. I really like Shayna as a wrestler. I think it might be interesting to see Ronda in a slightly different dynamic, but at the same time, a lot of people are already looking at Raw and SmackDown and kind of going, okay, so Rhea and Bianca are sort of going to be, in and around the top and steamrolling other people and fighting back all challengers. But then when you get to the mid-card, there's not really a lot for the women's talent in the mid-card.
The mid-card is the tag division.
Of the tag division, yeah. And there's been talk recently over maybe they'll introduce like a women's IC title, which I think would be amazing. But the thing is, if you give it to Ronda and Shayna, they're going to steamroll the entire mid-card. So you're going to have basically sort of your champions are all right, but everybody else is just going to be getting rebuffed and rebuffed and rebuffed. Potentially, anyway. It's sort of up in the air.
It's up in the air, but going into Raw, there will be a fatal four-way to crown the new champions, as you said. Raquel Rodriguez will be able to find a mystery partner. It was advertised as a mystery partner with a silhouette silhouette on the match card. Yeah. The opponents in that match, Bayley and Io Sky from Damage Control, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, and of course Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Hopefully Liv Morgan's injury doesn't keep her out too long, but the fact they vacated the title,
it kind of seems like it's going to be for just a little while. Hopefully it's not too severe an injury, and hopefully it is something she just bounced back straight from. But it's just the timing of it's very awkward,
timing of it is a shame, and it's just as the pair of them sort of seemed like they were blending more as a tag team.
Yeah, they were starting to gel.
Yeah, they were getting a bit more matching attires. It seemed a little bit like it was working a wee bit more, but unfortunately, obviously, not the case, and Liv will be out of action and vacating the belt.
Shayna's going to be tearing people limb from limb and beating them with those torn off limbs.
That's
it's going to be cool, but
it's going to be really cool. But we do have an update on WWE's plans for Ronda Rousey, which, and adjacent to Shayna Baszler, kind of affects her a little bit too. Ronda Rousey made her return to WWE this past week on Raw alongside Shayna when they took out Raquel Rodriguez, which was meant to set up a future women's tag team championship match against the former champions. This has now been revealed to be the four-way match taking place on Raw. The Wrestling Observer reports that despite the original plan of Rousey winning the tag belts at WrestleMania being long-term booking, the plan was they take the belts then and lead into the summer.
That was kind of like a little bit of a hint that might have been the case, wasn't there? And then it was like, they're going to pull the trigger, maybe not. And
it was sort of like, humming and hawing over what was going to happen at WrestleMania. Yeah. But Rousey is reportedly planning on taking some time off at some point, which could force WWE to rush through the storyline of them winning the belts and taking them through summer, unless she decides to extend her current run on TV.
And this is kind of annoying because, again, I'm a massive fan of Shayna Baszler. I loved Shayna Baszler's NXT run. I feel like, I wouldn't say she's been fumbled. It just feels like they don't really know what to do with Shayna, it feels, from time to time as a viewer, looking from the outside in. So it's sort of like, Shayna could be about to do this really cool thing, and Ronda's there, and it's going to hopefully help elevate these titles however high they can be elevated. But I was looking forward to kind of Shayna having more of a featured spot, Shayna becoming that killing machine again, and this could just sort of scupper that a little bit. It's not that Shayna couldn't do all those things again on her own, but at the same time, it's like, that
there's something there and it could happen. I do find it funny you just mentioned Shayna can do all these things. And Ronda's there, and Shayna can do. That's the thing, is Shayna Baszler, I think everyone knows is so underrated, and every time she gets paired with Ronda, it's like, oh, they're actually putting some things behind her. They're giving her some force here.
It's not like, it's not like Ronda's the one just elevating Shayna here. They're both helping elevate each other, and Ronda is, no matter what your opinion of her, she is featured as one of the standout major stars of the women's division. So to put Shayna with her, with their history together and everything as well, it works together as a team, and I'd like to see it flourish into something, and then Shayna gets something out the back end of it. Shayna turning on Ronda or Ronda turning on Shayna, I think it'd be quite juicy.
Yeah, I think it definitely could lead to some really
hard hitting match.
Perhaps we'll see that in the latter half of this year. If Ronda does take a break, maybe we'll see them.
If Shayna writes Ronda off TV,
that'd be quite fun. But we'll maybe find out if they're the new champions on the May 29th episode of Raw with the match that I mentioned earlier on. But speaking of new matches, a new one's been added to Double or Nothing. What's the crack, Sam?
So it's been made official that Adam Cole is going to take on Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing in an unsanctioned match. Now, during last night's Rampage, Jericho challenged Adam Cole to an unsanctioned match and then tore up the legal documents that barred Adam Cole from the arena. Soon after that, Cole came looking for Jericho, who's on commentary, and the pair then brawled. A contract signing takes place next week on Dynamite to make the match contractually official, and I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more shenanigans in and around that.
Yeah, I always find it funny when there's an unsanctioned match and they're like, let's sign the contract.
Yeah, it's like, it's unsanctioned. You can't come to us if you get hurt, but we do need to just get this ironed out real quick, just carefully.
It's a little waiver their rights to the thing. But I'm very excited for this match. We saw a really, really good Falls Count Anywhere between Jericho and Roddy Strong just this past week on Dynamite. One of the most fun matches. It felt very Attitude Era. Yeah, with a lot of. I'm
liking that Roddy's going to finally sort of just be given that space to have a spotlight. Just show what he can do.
He was in NXT longer than Nitro was around. That's ridiculous.
He was, but I feel like Roddy is a breakout star. It's come on.
Yeah, he is. But I'm very excited for the unsanctioned match. It's going to be good fun. Adam Cole and Jericho both can go in the ring. It's going to be chaos, and hopefully we'll see a lot of shenanigans with the JAS and Roderick Strong.
You got to think so.
Maybe Kyle O'Reilly if he's.
The match, the stip just leans so heavily into shenanigans that I always look forward to this sort of stuff.
Hopefully we'll see some Undisputed Era or Undisputed Elite or whatever their name goes leading in or coming out of this feud. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But we've got an update on AEW Collision's roster just now. Wrestling Purist reports that certain members of the roster are viewed as projects for the upcoming show, with Hobbs, Starks, Moriarty, and Hook all being named. They've also revealed that Andrade and Miro were specifically asked for and welcome back, while Joe was specifically requested to be on the show, which explains kind of why Ring of Honor is taping alongside Collision.
There's no Ace Steel. It's pointless. Just cancel the whole thing.
The whole show should go in the bin without Ace Steel. But Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast also reported that CM Punk wants Powerhouse Hobbs to be presented as a big deal on Collision. Wonder how that will go if Punk isn't there, but it seems to be that he's had quite a lot of influence on who the roster are and how they'll be presented.
It's his safe space.
Yeah.
I think that, going back to the Hobbs point there, I think the time is right for Hobbs to really become a featured player. You know, he's somebody who's practically begging for that ceiling to be shattered above him and just let loose. And I think that he could, just absolutely dominate.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He could be like one of the top draws on the show. He's got the look, he's got the ability in the ring. His TNT Championship run wasn't as good as it could have been. Yeah. And I think he should have held that independently from QTV and all that sort of stuff and maybe not had another feud with Wardlow. But having him a big spotlight on this show and having someone, if Punk is back, someone with the status of Punk on that show, elevating him could be really, really fun. Maybe see a feud between them. That would really elevate Hobbs.
Yeah, oh hell yeah.
But staying with AEW, we're going to round off things here with a little update on AEW Fight Forever. Now, this has been in development for years. Cody Rhodes was still with the company.
Is he still in the game?
He's apparently,
we'll troll through the code and we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out for you. But according to Fightful Select, AEW Fight Forever is set to release on Tuesday the 27th of June. This comes just 2 days after AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door pay-per-view, and it's believed an official announcement about this is coming in the next week. This is a game that has been in development for far too long. Yeah. It feels like we've been talking about it for years.
It feels like it's had quite the staggered progression when it comes to its production. It feels like we did hear a lot of kind of fun things that were happening, a lot of kind of disagreements that were happening. Nothing obviously got specified and is probably never to be openly talked about. But at the same time, it feels like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for this game. So the fact it's finally preloading onto certain Xbox consoles, the fact that it is going to be coming up soon is fantastic. I think announcing it and then having it drop after a pay-per-view makes sense because you've got an entire pay-per-view to plug it. You've got an entire pay-per-view to just cram, sponsor the pay-per-view by the game, cram the advert everywhere, get as many people talking about it and on it as possible.
See, I was expecting it to happen around Double or Nothing. Obviously, they're pushing it a month later around Forbidden Door. It'll be interesting to see, because we've not seen much gameplay of it. We saw some at Gamescom last year, and the Tokyo Game Show last year. We've not seen much of it. We don't know what the roster is. We don't know the visual style, if it's been updated.
I think people are kind of reading into it as like, there's a lot still kind of, it could be, is it going to be good or is it going to be bad? And I think I'm just excited to play a new wrestling game, to be honest.
That's the thing.
I'll play anything that's wrestling. I love
Ukes. So Ukes has got a long history in making wrestling games. They are the ones that came up with the best ones.
Yeah, like the fondest memories of wrestling gaming for me are tied to Ukes. So.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for that game. Hopefully we can get our hands on that very soon and see some little hands-on gameplay. I can't wait for a new video game. More money to spend.
Couple of Saturday afternoon sessions.
Yeah, we'll just do the news in AEW Fight Forever.
Yeah, why not?
We'll do. Yeah. Anyway, that's us for this morning. We'll be back later on this afternoon. I'm sure we've got some more lovely news for you.
There is.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I think there is. We'll catch you then.